Welcome. As you can see, today's video is about tea witchery. Now, this one on the left is one I just got. I've managed to tag some pages on it. This is one I've had from before, and I have made some brews from it. So you can see a couple of them there. One for health on the right, one for meditation on the left. And I've reworked my whole table so that I can bring some of the magic of the candles, some oils into it, and really get busy because tea magic interests me. My grandmother was a tea leaf reader, my mother was a tea leaf reader, and I have had some great fun doing it myself. So let's crack this book on the left open. All right, so just to recap, this is a good size book put out by S.M. Harlow, and it is by Wiser Books. So it's a good hardcover book, fairly good size. You can see on the back there that it is delving in, I guess, using her introduction to teas, tea magic, tea healing from her grandmother, that she takes us on a little journey with spells and rituals and extra sigils that we can even add to the brews. And it's either, I think it's this book here that talks about the magical way of even, disposing of the tea leaves after, in a way of honoring whether it was the ancestors, the deities, what have you, whatever you're working with. So you've seen all of that. Let's crack in here. So there is the contents. And I've already put some marks beside ones that I want to dive into, which is the moon teas and the espats, the sabbat teas, and the potions, as well as I'm really quite interested in seeing the tea sigils. You can see more of it there. And herb substitutions is great because not everyone has the same ingredients in their cupboards. So that is the contents. And then she talks about beginning the craft. And it's basically a tea witch's grimoire where she's sharing the information her grandmother introduced her to. And she likes to bring in the crystals as well. The sigils, I did find that page. And she's got a variety of potions. And finally, you'll learn what to do with your herbs once the tea has been prepared and used and gone, which is another magical step that I never knew about. My mother and grandmother being both tea leaf readers, I didn't understand that there was an extra step here. Maybe they didn't do it. But at the end of your tea ritual or spell, you can use the leaves for divination, yes, and you'll learn how to dispose of them. Absolutely fantastic, like that. Now, there's all the information as you go along with the basic things that you'll need to get going. This one interested me, a tarot tea. I guess this would be fun to do with friends. So you have your deck of cards, an amethyst, a strainer, some black tea, dried cherries, peppermint, and a vanilla bean. And she goes into all the steps and takes us very accurately through doing the spell and how to steep the tea and for how long. And then after you've done this, and it talks about even stirring the vanilla bean clockwise, savoring the brew, getting into that meditative state so that you can then shuffle your cards, pull 3, and approach the deck for guidance. That is pretty nice. There's ones in here with beautiful watercolor illustrations. There's another one for warding off negativity, prosperity. But the drawings themselves, it would be nice almost to have the illustrations put out into a deck that we could, use those as well. And I could just think of all kinds of things and all kinds of ways. Now, There's one for tea with a broken heart and the recipe there. But let's skip on here. Oh, how can you skip when all these are jumping? There's a basil moon tea espat and all the ingredients there. Let's see. Oh, here I was, we're getting into May. So this one is probably going to be on my radar to make for the month of May for the altar. And I like that idea of brewing it with intention and bringing it to the altar or the table where you're reading your cards and just sip it for a little bit of magic. And it says here, as you take a sip of your tea, focus in on the sweet decadence of the honey on your lips. Say out loud what you honor within yourself and what balances you. I hope the light's not too bad. And it just really walks you through it all. There is another Yarrow Moon Tea Espat for November. So you get one for every month. It would be fun to make them all up and have them ready. There's horoscope teas in here. And who doesn't like to do that? To honor the sign that we were born under with the ingredients. And even to the temperatures that the tea is best brewed at. Wonderful. And then this is where we get into empowering the tea with sigils. And the next page shows the ones that are most common to her. I hope you can read all of that. And it just suggests that symbols may be drawn upon the teapot, the teacup, the saucer, or a spoon, almost anything. And she personally loves to use the liquid chalk markers that comes in different colors depending on her intentions. And she draws that onto the teacup. But she makes a note here, don't draw it on the inside of the teacup because there's probably chemicals that will not do you any good. And here we have the sigils that she likes to draw on and why. So you've got your meanings there, your intention. She's got teas and crystals. So you can certainly start to use all the crystals in your collection. And she gives you also what you need to know as far as some of the characteristics of the crystals in case you haven't had chance to use them yet. If it's new to your practice, you're going to want to know some information. So that's all there. And there's another section there talking about the practice and the candles and the burning of the candles. And it is just endless. So fabulous little book. If you haven't seen this, it's highly recommended on the internet. And here in the back, a breakdown of the teas, the times, measurements, and setting your goals and intentions through certain herbs. It is wonderful. So how many pages? Oh yeah, we got lots of herbs. And she even broke it down into whether you're trying to work with peace, power, prophetic dreams. So we get, still going there, 189 pages, plus an index at the back for the types of tea magic you can do. So that is what the author has included as a photograph of her and her little story. So fabulous. I am really going to be putting this to use. The Tea Witch's Grimoire. Okay, the next one. Now let's just see first when that was brought to print. This one is 2023. Okay, now this one is by Guinevere Elliott. Not a lot on the back. But let's see what I've marked in here. So there is your table of contents. And you can purchase this on Amazon. And her intention was to teach us how to cast a powerful tea spell and enable us to realize the deepest desires through the power of tea magic. So that was that. You've got your introduction, and it tells all about who she is. And she is from California and from a family of witches. So then, again, in this book, we get more information about using the crystals, I guess along the side of your cards with your teacup, in your altar space. A little bit more information in this book on the traits and qualities of the stones. And this really interested me in that you could tailor the tea towards a deity that you want to work with. And she talks about Hecate here, Greek goddess. Before you start your brew, you might want to, research, as she says, what herbs, flowers, fruits are associated with her, or use your intuition. And if you work with her, she can probably offer ideas for you as to what to bring. But it's all in the idea of making an offering to the deity. There's appropriate ingredients. You want to get that right. You want to consider how different herb combinations also impact the flavor, because you want to enjoy this. And then, let's just see, there was another nifty section in here where she's got, if you want to do the divination, these are the common shapes, and you can get many books on this to help guide you as far as the shapes go. But it is a lot of peering into the teacup and using your intuition, and then gradually getting comfortable with not just looking for one symbol, but reading several in a row, whether it sits at the top of the cup, the middle, the bottom. It is really quite an art. And the position, as it says. There was another section here. I'm just going to pause for a second and find it, because you can also work with the darker deities and the demons. Okay, here it is here. And she says, you may hear the words demon or dark spirit, but for the purpose of practicing witchcraft, it is crucial to understand that demons and dark spirits are simply otherworldly beings, just like fairies and deities. Well, I think you need to still be really, really careful and know and protect yourself in your space before you start doing some of this work. And dark spirits are able to offer us help in ways other spirits cannot, because they have more access to dark forces. While other spirits help restore our positive energy, demons can assist us in drawing out the negative energies that already reside within us. And knowing how to expel that is important in order to make room for positive ones. Yes, indeed. So those are a few pages on that. We saw some of the symbolism there. And in the back, again, you've got some, things that you can bring to the teacup according to the signs of the zodiac. It really is fun. And there's a page in the back here that you could certainly duplicate, so that every session that you sit down with, you can indicate the deck you used, the time of day, the moon cycle, all of that. That comes in quite handy. So I'd be inclined not to write in the book, because if you get the bug of reading tea leaves, you're going to want a few of these pages. So another good book for, as it says, embracing, and then it brings in the cooking and the baking. It has candle magic there. Okay, and it even has some sections on affirmations and forming those. And it is a good idea to keep a little journal as you do this to see what symbols come up, and I guess what those symbols mean to you. You can compare it with what's in other books, but it's generally how you feel about the symbol or symbols that you can find in the teacup, and begin to tell a story, practicing on yourself first before other people if you're going to do the divination part. And I think those are two great books. So I am recommending those. If you have a great tea magic book, do let me know. And especially if it has, more common ingredients that almost anyone can find, either at the store or in their herbal cabinet, and growing them so that you know the purity of the herbs and really enjoying your mixes. And I'm certainly going to be thinking about the Espat ones, the moon ones, and having those ready for the months. That can be great fun and a challenge. So, everyone, enjoy your day and have a wonderful cup of tea and do your magic. Enjoy.